there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsdon.
And I'm Jeff Searcy.
And Jeff, before we go on, I believe there's a third guest with us here who needs to make an announcement.
Oh my God. Is that the spirit from beyond the grave?
Apparently it is.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Okay. I'll give him my mic to make this simple. Jay Logsdon, you have subverted the will of the wheel once again.
You're right, I have.
You didn't want to watch Conjuring 2. Now you'll have to face the consequences.
Rightly so.
I am extending the Horror for the Holidays Halloween Spooktacular 2024 an extra week to punish your nonsense.
No!
That's right, folks. 5 weeks of Spooktacular.
Yeah, last year was 5 weeks of Spooktacular, but this year there's only 4 Mondays in October.
I believe so.
And so we're going to start...
We're still doing 5 Spooktaculars, though.
Yeah, we'll technically start on the 30th of September. That'll be our first episode.
Spooky.
Yeah, to cover all of October as punishment for my transgressions.
Yes, I hope that's fitting punishment for you, Jay.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. And unfortunately, I have something else that I have to say.
Oh, God.
First, an apology. I have a prepared statement. Here at Horror for the Holidays, we take our podcasting very seriously.
Yeah.
All right. We strive to be on the cutting edge of Christmas horror news, and it is with a heavy heart that I must announce on the previous episode, I failed you. In our excitement to talk about The Nights Before Christmas, I completely missed that Simon Phillips will be appearing in a movie scheduled to release this year titled Silent Bite.
You monster.
It appears to be a Christmas vampire heist movie, already available to pre-order online. Listeners, I apologize, and I will probably fail you again.
I can't believe you doubted the great Simon Phillips, Jay. Everybody knows that this is going to be a backdoor prequel to the third Night Before Christmas movie.
Yeah, they're gonna make Ian something. No, Nick Conway. Ian something Conway.
It's going to be a vampire in the third one.
It's going to be a vampire in the third one. This is how they're going to explain it. Or potentially he's been a vampire the whole time, and this is a prequel. They've just never pointed it out.
That's why he can regenerate.
Anyway, very excited for that.
Anyway, I'm going to have to distance myself from the show now, Jay. I hope you understand.
You can pre-order the movie. Like I said, you can already pre-order the movie, like Grindhouse Video. Yep. I already have. But yeah, go out and do that. Show that we want to see Silent Bite.
We want to see more Simon Phillips.
Yeah, more Simon Phillips Christmas movies. All right, let's deck the halls for 2016's Better Watch Out.
I think you mean 2016 Safe Neighborhood.
Yeah, also known as Safe Neighborhood. Festival release date of September 22nd, 2016. U.S. street date of October 6th, 2017. Neither of those are great. Great release dates, but...
I mean, it's not great, but at least it's in the ballpark, I'd say. At least it wasn't released in, like, May.
Written and directed by Chris Peckover, and then co-written and story by Zach Kahn, who also wrote the Bunny Man episode of Suburban Screams, which that was a fun episode. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
The John Carpenter documentary on Peacock. That was probably my favorite episode. Some of the other ones were not as entertaining as the Bunny Man one. Olivia DeJonge plays Ashley. People might know her as Becca from The Visit. I assume that's one of the children. I've not seen The Visit. I just know what happened.
It is one of the children, and don't watch it, Jay. Just don't watch it.
Levi Miller plays the love child of Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk, also known as Luke.
Yep.
Who will appear in Jeff's most anticipated movie, not titled Silent Bite. of this year, Kraven the Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
As young Sergey.
Jay, you know what? Let's just take a second here. Sony, stop trying to make the Spider-Man cinematic universe happen.
The Spider-Man Cinematic Universe sans Spider-Man.
Stop it. Just stop it. Get some help.
We've got Virginia Madsen as Luke's mom, Deandra. And we got me, Patrick Warburton, playing his dad, Robert. I can't do a good Patrick Warburton impression.
Oh,
hey, it's me, Patrick Warburton.
that's just terrible, Jay. Terrible. Anyway, that babysitter's fucking hot. Am I right?
Rounding out the main cast, we've got Ed Oxenbould as Garrett. I believe he was the other kid in The Visit.
Yeah, I think he was the wannabe rapper, yeah.
Alex Mikic as Ricky, and Dacre Montgomery as Jeremy, who people probably best know as Max's shitty brother from Stranger Things. Didn't look a thing like him until like one scene, and then I went, oh no, that's him. But I think it's because he doesn't have like the long kind of curly red hair.
Yeah, he's not styled for the 80s.
All like Jeff said, also known as Safe Neighborhood. I believe in Australia known as Safe Neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Pretty low budget, $3 million.
Was originally supposed to be $500,000, and be filmed in South Carolina, but they moved it to Australia because they offered them like a $3 million budget.
Yep, film credits.
Which, I mean, that was great.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it paid off, I think, in the set decoration and stuff.
Absolutely. But speaking of the set, did you notice did you read the thing about the doorknobs?
I did not.
So apparently, when they were building the set in Australia, doorknobs are put at like 4 feet 9 inches high or something like that.
Okay.
Go back and watch the movie and see where all the doorknobs are placed. It is, once you notice it, it really fucking stands out.
Interesting.
When Ashley's in the laundry room, it's literally level with her like forehead.
All right, well, we'll have to rewatch.
Like,
then. Let's rewatch the doorknob cut.
Like, as I read that and I was like, that's weird. Why would someone point that out? And then I noticed it on a rewatch, and I was like, holy shit! Every single doorknob is way too high off the ground.
Is that supposed to be so kids can't reach them, or what?
It's either so kids can't reach them, or there's some kind of wild animal in Australia that can open doorknobs, and so they have to build them higher so venomous creatures can't enter homes.
That's wild.
You know, because that entire continent's trying to kill everybody that lives there. Box office, according to Wiki, was $188,000, which not a great return on investment, which is sad.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't really get much because I had never even heard of it before you told me about it a couple of years ago. It just apparently was not marketed very well.
I don't even recall it being in theaters. Like, I would have seen this. But,
no, I would have totally went to see this.
But also, you know, maybe don't watch the trailers. Like maybe that's the problem is people were like, oh, don't watch the trailer. It gives away the whole movie. Mm-hmm. So no one went to see it. Where to watch? You can stream it on Peacock, Tubi. Like a lot of free places and a lot of paid places.
You can get a pretty cheap Blu-ray copy too.
Yep, I've got both a Blu-ray and a DVD copy. Because I'm a glutton for...
Just be warned, people. This features the most terrifying villain you've ever seen. It's not a monster, Jay. It's worse. It's an incel.
It's kind of a monster too. Also weirdly, so I picked up my other copy of Better Watch Out on my trip to Colorado. Also up there, if you look, Jeff, next to A Christmas Horror Story, I have A Holiday Horror Story, which is the same movie but with a different name.
Nice. Let's watch it and review it as its own movie.
and I also, maybe our audio will be better for that episode.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's another one where I was like, well, I gotta collect these, so might as well grab it.
You know, I was thinking about that for a possible stocking stuffer, reviewing all the movies we've already watched, but under their alternate titles.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
Because Christmas Evil was supposed to be called Better Watch Out.
Yeah, well,
and
then
it
also
is in some releases.
And then also, what, Terror in Toyland?
Yep.
Yep.
So we could watch all three Better Watch Outs and do wildly different reviews of them.
But yeah, you personal experience. You said you had.
I'd never even heard of this. Nothing about it until you told me about it. It sounded interesting at the time, but you're like, "There's a twist," and don't watch the trailer because it'll spoil it for you.
Which, I mean, to your credit, I think me telling you there was a twist kind of like clued you in to watch for something, but you had it figured out pretty quickly, which was
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it, I'm sure, but the home invasion is not very credible.
My personal experience is, when I was trying to set up, for the podcast and bookmark all the Christmas horror movies I could find, I found this one, watched it twice, one Christmas Eve and then again on like Boxing Day, because I think my wife fell asleep like halfway through, so we just rewatched the whole movie again.
Nice.
But yeah, it's good enough that I, clearly excited enough to talk about it again.
I mean, I enjoyed rewatching it just last night, even though we just watched it a week ago. So,
anything else, or are you ready to get into our synopsis?
I think let's just get into this.
All right, opening credits and title cards set over like beautiful scenes of like a town decorated for Christmas, or like kind of like a suburban neighborhood.
A lot of great Christmas decorations in this one.
As Joy to the World plays, we see like a girl trying to set up a snowman, and then her brother goes and like cuts the head off the snowman.
Yep.
And then she screams like, "Get back here, you motherfucker," which really sets the scene for the whole movie.
Yep.
We get people, families out decorating. We have like a dog pooping like in the snow.
Oh yeah, that was a note I wanted to talk about. A lot of people were like, I don't think this should be labeled as a horror comedy. And I'm like, there's clearly comedic shit through this entire movie.
Yep.
So I don't know what you people are talking about.
We have carolers, all sorts of stuff.
All the Christmas tropes you would expect.
We're introduced to Ashley, who is driving to the learner's house, so Luke and his parents.
She's leaving town the next day.
Yep, to babysit their son. She's on the phone with her mom, who is bugging her about a boyfriend. The whole reason you're sneaking out on Christmas Eve is to spend time with your boyfriend. And she's like, no, I'm going to babysit. Mm-hmm. And almost hits a cat. And then like these carolers in the neighborhood turn around and stare at her. And she kind of like looks around and then starts driving again and like drives off. And then we see a black ominous SUV like pull behind her and start following her down the street.
Spooky.
At the learner's house, Luke is reading a Maxim article about how fear puts women in the mood. And Garrett rightfully makes fun of him for this.
Yes.
Luke thinks he can convince Ashley to fall for him. That's kind of the whole point of this entire scene.
They're also rehashing a long debate between them, apparently, that the paint can thing would kill... who is it, Marv, that gets hit with it?
Is it Marv? Yeah, I think it might be Marv in Home Alone.
In Home Alone, yeah. He's like, that would totally kill him. It's like, nah, I'd just knock him out, dude. They showed it on Mythbusters.
We're introduced to Deandra and Robert, Patrick Warburton and Virginia Madsen. They have just a great back and forth throughout the entire movie.
Clearly.
Steal every scene they're in.
Clearly they've been married a long time. And they're just like sniping each other back and forth constantly.
Every time they are in a scene. You're just like I'm just like, what are they talking about? I want to know what Virginia and
Yes. Are you really going to wear that shirt to the party? I guess not.
There's a great back and forth. I'm sure you have it too, Jeff, for our quotes section. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
But it revolves all around Patrick Warburton wanting to hang up Christmas decorations, and it gets pretty wild. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Ashley arrives and Robert answers the door saying, "Good Lord, you are breathtaking."
Yep.
We learned that Ashley is moving away to Pittsburgh. Garrett, Robert, and Deandra all leave. Deandra complains about Robert's Santa tie, which he replaces with a black snowman tie. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, sorry, you didn't like this? And he takes it off. He's like, good thing I brought it back up. And then he slides on a snowman tie.
Yeah. Classic Patrick Warburton.
Ashley makes a phone call to her boyfriend Ricky that she's clearly like going to break up with, or in the process of breaking up with, for her move to Pittsburgh. And Luke kind of eavesdrops on the conversation. And then like there's a big spider kind of crawling around the house that Luke kind of catches and lets outside. And kind of opens the back door to do it. Mm-hmm. Luke then opens a bottle of champagne and Ashley goes to dump it out, but she also has to close the back door again. So it's like, oh, did Luke not close the back door? Did the back door not lock? Like, kind of an ominous scene.
It's Luke's plan to appear as a desirable bad boy. He's going to drink some champagne.
Yeah, he pops a bottle of champagne and he's like, Oh, look how cool I am. Oh, Garrett and I drank a whole bottle once, and he puked everywhere. What a lightweight. I'm like, dude, I think you would both puke. It's champagne. Like,
Now
you're
we
not
got-
supposed to drink the whole bottle.
Now we gotta watch a horror movie to make sure she's in the mood.
But we get a scene of like when Ashley goes and closes the back door that was somehow like open again or left open. We don't know, but kind of setting, there's something weird going on. There might be someone else in the house or someone else around the house. We see the swing slowly swaying back and forth in the backyard. Ashley goes to order pizza, and the phone rings before she can pick it up, and no one is there. And that kind of spooks her, so she forgets to order the pizza. And then the pizza arrives anyway.
Yep.
And Luke's like, well, I didn't order any pizza. And so, but the guy's like, yeah, is this 312 whatever? Yeah, well, here's your pizza. And so they pay him and they take the pizza. And then Ashley gets jump scared by this big Santa blow mold that they just keep inside their front room for whatever reason. Ashley then puts it out on the front porch. We get a scene of them eating pizza and watching scary movies. And then a great scene where they're kind of sitting there, kind of hanging out, watching this movie. And the camera kind of pulls back. And you see like a shadowy figure standing in the window, like kind of looking in on them.
He keeps trying to not so subtly touch her thigh, too, while they're watching the movie.
Yeah, he puts his hand there. And then she just clearly like grabs his hand, puts it back on his leg.
Yeah.
Luke attempts to make a move on Ashley and gets rebuffed. The phone then rings, and at first no one is there, but then a voice goes, "I can see you." To which Ashley responds, thinking it's her ex Jeremy. Really? Then how many fingers am I holding up? And flips the person off out the window.
That's pretty good.
Ashley then looks back out the window and sees the Santa blow mold now set up facing the inside, which she had just put it on the front porch.
Yeah.
She goes to like go outside and do something only to see the back doors open again for a third time. Ashley tries to call 911 asking Luke to throw her cell phone, which he fails miserably at and tosses right into the fish tank.
Yep. Looking like a Chad as usual.
There are a couple of knocks at the front door. Luke opens it and threatens the person with Taekwondo.
As you do.
Only for someone to rush inside and tackle him. But it's Garrett.
Stupid Garrett.
Oh, that piece of shit, Garrett.
It's been Garrett the whole time.
Ashley yells at him for like sneaking around and trying to scare them. And she's like, really not funny what you're doing in the backyard. And Garrett goes, I wasn't in the backyard. And then a window breaks in the house. They all run upstairs to investigate and find a shattered window with a brick through it. Ashley goes to call the police, but the phone lines are dead and the Wi-Fi signal is gone. Which the Wi-Fi signal is named Finn and Jake, so that tells you roughly when this movie came out.
Yeah. And Jay, you've missed the message on my messenger rock. That's coming up here in a second.
Yeah. Ashley asks why they don't have a security system, to which Luke responds, it's a safe neighborhood. So they do the thing, but this time in Australian. They do the Australian thing.
Exactly. Oi, mate.
Ashley gets her keys only to discover that the tires of her car have been slashed. Garrett then brings Ashley the brick, and on the back of it is, you leave, you die.
Of course, with a U instead of spelling the word.
Which is, I think, just really makes it.
I loved it.
Oh, man. Bright lights then turn on, like, inside facing towards the front of the house. And Garrett runs out the back only to get shot by someone unseen.
And this is when I began to doubt what the hell was going on. Because, why did Garrett just run out there for no reason?
They run upstairs, but someone is already up there. They go and hide in the attic, which is in, the room right above the laundry room. The only reason I bring that up is because, like I said, the laundry room has that really high doorknob.
Yeah.
The person below in the ground floor below them, the intruder kind of patrols the house. Ashley walks into a spider web and two spiders crawl all over her, causing her to almost fall out of the attic, but Luke catches her.
Yes.
Makes a whole lot of noise, but somehow the intruder does not come and investigate what's going on.
Luke saves her from falling.
And then he leaves to go get his dad's gun. He comes back.
No, see, that is where I figured out what was going on. I'm like, there is no way that this baby would go get his dad's gun and try to fight this guy off if he didn't know what was going on.
They run and hide in Luke's room, and Ashley notices the intruder is wearing the same ski mask that Luke was wearing in a family photo earlier. The intruder is Garrett. She tells Luke he's a child and needs therapy for staging something like this. She storms off, and Luke smacks her, causing her to fall down the stairs and black out.
He uses the ultimate pimp hand technique and knocks her out by throwing her down the stairs. But yeah.
He's like, Ashley, come back. Ashley, stop. Ashley. And she turns around. What? Smack. And
Yep.
she just goes tumbling down the stairs.
Her exact words in the closet are, "What kind of infant thinks that staging a home invasion would get him to second base?"
I have that quote written down. I assume you do too.
Yeah.
Ashley comes to find herself tied to a chair with duct tape, and then duct tape also placed over her mouth. As a jazzy version of Jingle Bells plays, Luke and Garrett talk about playing some kind of game called Fuck, Marry, Kill. Never heard of it.
Never.
With the Adventure Time girls, which Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, and then a third one. I don't know who the third one is. Maybe Fire Princess.
Man, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to dig deeper into that later.
Garrett is also apparently high on oxy.
Yep.
And rides a scooter through the house. Luke threatens Ashley with shooting her, and then makes the three of them play truth or dare. And if Ashley doesn't play, he's going to roofie her.
Yep.
Which is insane.
He's gonna give her the old Cosby.
Garrett dares Luke to touch Ashley's boobs, which he does. Ashley then asks Luke if Garrett knows that he killed his hamster. Garrett then, Garrett rightfully freaks out, saying, what, you told me it got out, or you told me like your cat, like my cat got it or something.
And had an accident. Yes, after it was already dead.
And then Garrett is like, fine, so someone dare me to do something. Someone dare me to make out with Ashley, and Luke refuses, essentially because Ashley is his property / babysitter.
Well, Jay, this really highlights the beginning of the end for this entire enterprise, because, as usual, you can't find a good henchman to save your life. Garrett's already becoming a weenie about his hamster being murdered.
A classic Jeff siding with the bad guy. Luke pours the roofie into a liquor bottle and tries to get Ashley to drink it, but she shatters the bottle instead. And then Ricky arrives.
Oh boy.
She did not I get this right? She did not contact him, and instead it was Luke that contacted him.
So Luke threw her. He faked not being able to throw her phone to her, but he'd already slipped it inside a plastic case, so it falls in the fish tank. At some point, he retrieved it and texted Ricky to come over.
Okay. That's what I thought, but yeah. He gets into the house kind of looking for Ashley, and it's very kind of slapstick humor of the boys trying to move her to other rooms and trying to divert where Ricky is.
Because she's during this process while they're messing around with Ricky, she's been loosening her duct tape that's holding her to the chair.
She tipped over and grabbed a piece of glass.
Yep, and she's been sawing through it slowly.
Yeah, slowly cutting off the duct tape. We get Ain't We Have Fun playing as this all happens, which I think is just the soundtrack in this movie is fantastic.
It is good.
Ricky kind of searches for Ashley, but is and kind of goes upstairs, kind of looking around for her, and then Luke, he's like, stop! I'll tell you where she is, or something like that. And he turns around and then just gets hit in the face with a baseball bat.
And then Luke does his best Psycho dance impression, but he's not very good at it.
I thought it was American Psycho, maybe a little bit of
let's say it was a little bit of Joaquin Phoenix Joker. It felt like too.
I thought maybe a little Risky Business too.
Yeah. But then he quickly stops dancing when he realizes that his weak ass hit did not actually knock Ricky out.
Yeah, Ricky stands up and lunges at him, knocking him to the ground, and
then Garrett comes in clutch with the shotgun threat.
Threatens him, and then while this is going on, Luke grabs a pencil and stabs him in the cheek with it. Real gory, kind of goopy cheek stab.
And then he finally knocks him out the right way with the baseball bat, while acting like he had it under control the whole time.
Ricky is now tied up as well, and Luke had wrapped... this is where I think it's kind of revealed that Luke had wrapped Ashley's phone in the baggie, so it didn't get ruined in the water. Yeah. He then tells Ashley to call her ex Jeremy, and tell him to come over, which she kind of refuses to do, so he does it himself. While he is distracted, she continues to kind of cut the tape around one of her wrists with a glass. Ricky then distracts Luke further by pissing himself, which gives her more of an opportunity to cut more of the tape away. And then Garrett sparks up, distracting him further, allowing her to cut one of her legs free.
Yep.
They make Ricky take a hit, which causes the smoke to come out of the hole in his cheek, which is just a really great effect.
Yeah.
Ricky asks Garrett why he hangs out with him, and Garrett's like, well, he's my best friend. And Ricky's like, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is a great line and absolutely true.
And this is when Luke has had enough of this bullshit, and he's like, all right, we got to deal with the Ricky situation.
Yeah, so they haul Ricky into the foyer and then attempt to home alone him with the paint can.
Yes.
He's like, we can finally test it out. We can finally see who's right.
But bear in mind that this paint can is being swung at a way more... at a way steeper angle than the one in Home Alone is, so it's getting way more velocity behind it.
And we get this great scene where Ashley's finally able to cut herself free. She grabs the gun that they left on the counter, and she's like, "That Luke, stop, drop it, or I'll shoot." And he's like, "Okay," and he drops the thing. Like crashing it into Ricky's face. We get this great scene of like a bunch of paint splattering all over the floor and then blood just starting to pour into the paint.
Oh, and this is also another thing I called because when he goes to get his dad's gun, he's like, oh yeah, it's loaded. I checked. And I'm like, so it's not loaded. And the way he's casually leaving it around where she could get to it, I'm like, it must not be loaded. And then, surprise, it's not loaded.
Yep, and he's like, no responsible parent, no responsible parent keeps their gun loaded in the house. They keep the gun and ammo separate. Ashley escapes through the back door, but trips on a tripwire that triggers an airsoft rifle, which is what hit Garrett earlier in the movie when he tried to escape and someone shot him.
Mm-hmm. Also, side note for keeping a gun in your house, keep your gun loaded in your house. Just get a gun safe.
Ashley tries to run to some carolers to alert them for help. They're singing Carol of the Bells as Ashley gets hit with like an airsoft pellet and falls to the ground, getting knocked out again. And it's this great scene of like this happening. She trips and falls, and then the camera kind of pans on her face, and like you get the ding dong, ding dong. Just a great little scene.
Good use of soundtrack in this movie, like we said.
Ashley wakes up again, tied to a chair in Christmas lights now. Just a great look. Love like a person restrained in Christmas lights, like wrapped in Christmas lights. Love a weapon wrapped in Christmas lights. Like this movie did one of my favorite things in one of these movies. Ashley is able to kick Luke in the dick, which is just kind of a funny scene that happens once. But Luke tells her that... tells Garrett that... wait, hold on. Which is funny. But then Luke tells Garrett he's gone. Get them out of this. And sets his... Oh.
Jay Logsdon reading his notes in real time. So yeah, basically, Garrett's freaking out because of how far this has gone.
Yeah, there you go.
And Luke is like, oh, don't worry. I got a plan to get us out of this. As soon as Jeremy gets here, we'll get everything set up. And Garrett seems skeptical.
Which Jeremy arrives, tripping over a trebuchet in the front yard, and that's what was used to launch the brick through the window.
Yep. And Luke heads him off outside, and he's like, because he's kind of creeping around the backyard and trying to figure out where Ashley is. Luke comes out, and he's like, well, Ashley, we'll see you, but first you have to write her a written apology. And Jeremy doesn't seem like a very smart guy. And he's like, oh, man. Okay, I guess.
So he, like, sits there, struggles to, like, write a couple words.
It's Ashley, I'm sorry. And Luke's like, that's all you want to say? And he's like, yeah. And he looks at him, no. He starts writing again.
So he finally finishes writing his letter, which, kind of looks like a suicide note.
Basically, yes.
And Luke, and he's kind of like looking around. He's like, all right, I'm done writing it. Where are you? And then Luke sneaks up behind him, wraps a noose around his neck, and then uses the riding lawnmower
to pull him up
into the air and strangle him with it.
I'm glad they added that detail because there was no way Luke had the upper body strength to haul that guy up into a tree.
And then also we get a instrumental Carol of the Bells at this point, which, once again, just how great the soundtrack is.
At this point, Garrett has completely failed as a henchman and has switched sides.
He tries to free Ashley, only to get shot by Luke, who yells, "Look at what you made me do" at him.
Yep.
And then shoots him again. And he's like, you shot me. And then he shoots him again and very calmly says, he was starting to annoy me anyways.
Me too, Luke. Me too.
Luke then stabs Ashley in the throat. It's this like great scene where he's like, why, like essentially like Luke's like, why doesn't my mom love me? Like, tell me why my mom doesn't love me anymore. And he's like, tell me it's because I'm fucked up. Tell me it's because I'm a monster. And Ashley's just like not saying a word. And so he just goes and stabs her in the neck.
Yep.
And then we get this scene of him,
like staging the scene, basically.
yep, cleaning up and implying that Jeremy went on a killing spree and kind of killed everybody in the house.
Yes, well, he set it up because he made sure Ricky had marijuana in his system, so he made it look like Ashley invited her boyfriend over to hang out, and they got drunk and were smoking pot, and Jeremy showed up, found him, killed them all, and then hung himself.
Yep.
While he was assuming asleep upstairs, but for some reason Garrett was downstairs.
Yeah, some reason Garrett was there.
Yeah.
And it's all set to Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight Tonight, this whole cleanup.
Yeah.
It's great. We get this like great scene where he's going to like set his mom earlier in the movie, his mom was worried about him sleepwalking. So he goes and like, she's like, we put a pencil on his doorknob so that way he can't get it set up. Yeah. And then he goes, oh shit, the pencil. He has to run downstairs, put the pencil back in his cheek,
yes,
and then drop it back in the blood in the paint, to kind of explain the pencil hole in his cheek away. Yeah. And then he sets the pencil on the doorknob and then has to sneak around the house on the outside.
Yeah, he can't get it to stay if he does it from inside his door, so he has to do it on the outside and then walk along the roof, which he almost falls and dies on the Christmas lights, the Santa's reindeer display.
And then his mom and dad are pulling up like right then, and he's like able to like catch like a falling candy cane right before they're able to notice it. Gets in, he lays down, takes his sleeping pill, yes, lays down, and then oh shit, wakes up, turns on his little noise making machine,
baby sound thing, yeah,
and then falls asleep to the sounds of his mom screaming. We then come back to him being woken up by his mom, who's basically telling her. We kind of get Patrick Warburton, talking to like paramedics.
I just saw Garrett's dad last week. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be terrible.
And kind of talk about everything, and then he's sitting there, being kind of a smug little asshole, thinking he got away with it, and then you hear one of the people go, "We got a live one down here."
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And
and he goes and he runs to look outside. And you hear one of the paramedics saying like, yeah, she was stabbed in the neck, but she had the wherewithal to slap some duct tape over it to keep her alive. Mm-hmm. And then we see Ashley like being hauled into the back of the ambulance. She looks up, sees Luke looking out the window, and flips him off as they put her in the back of the ambulance.
I think while we were watching it, I mentioned, I'm like, he's only going to stab her one time. How can he be sure she's dead?
And right as she flips him off, Joy to the World starts playing, which is what began the movie, but two, it's just like a great mic drop moment of just flip the bird, Joy to the World.
And then we roll credits, and since this movie made no money, we'll never figure out what happens afterwards.
Mid-credit scene. Luke says to his mom, I'm worried about Ashley. We should go see her in the hospital.
Yep.
Credits roll again.
I want to see that so bad.
Oh, it'd be so good.
He's there, and she's like, I'm assuming by this point she's going to be like in a coma from blood loss, and it'd just be him trying to kill her without the doctors figuring out that that's what he's trying to do.
Or she survives, moves away, better watch out too, lost in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he shows up. That would be fun too.
So yeah, that's Better Watch Out.
That was Better Watch Out.
What a movie.
What a movie, Jay.
Hey, M. Night, that's how you do a twist.
Oh, we'll be talking about that, Jay. Don't you worry.
All right. Well, where do you want to start, buddy?
You're falling right into my trap.
Oh, God.
Let's do set decoration first, because this one's got a lot to talk about.
All right. Christmas wrapping, favorite set decorations, costumes, etc. First off, for me, a lot of great, like, implied violence. Like, yeah, you get the cheek stab and the hanging, but there's a lot of, like, the paint bucket, it cuts away before like it crushes Ricky's skull.
It does a really good job though with showing the paint splatter than the blood splatter.
Yeah, or like stabbing Ashley in the neck. It's done from behind, so you don't actually like see him like stab her.
Yep.
Just I thought that was all really well done.
No, it was definitely lots of great Christmas displays. Like we already talked about, people outside, and there's plenty of snow on the ground, which is nice. I think Jay is probably going to comment on Patrick Warburton's attire, so I'll leave that for him.
Yeah, love both of Patrick Warburton's Christmas ties. Love the Santa blow mold.
Yeah.
It's not like the classic one that you kind of think of. It's a lot bigger, and it is very creepy.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I like that display on their roof too, the reindeer and the candy cane like pin they're in. It's pretty cool.
I think it's probably fake snow, but it looks better than a lot of fake snow you see in other movies.
It definitely looks nice, and it behaves. They must have made sure the footprints and stuff stayed, because you can see footprints in the backyard too.
Great Christmas soundtrack, which we already mentioned.
Yep.
And last thing, something I had already mentioned. Love a person or like a weapon wrapped in Christmas lights. We get that in this movie.
Yes, we do.
Anything else you want to shout out?
I like the house. I thought it was a pretty cool house to do this in. It's not like ridiculously huge, but it's big enough you could believe like that Ricky would have trouble finding her, and they could hide from somebody during a home invasion.
I'm gonna say it's like there's kind of like a foyer, and then that kind of leads through to the kitchen. There's like a wraparound staircase with like almost like a walkway kind of upstairs.
Yep.
And then you have like 3 rooms kind of you have the kitchen, you have kind of like a dining area, and then you have like a living room area. Like, and so, and then there's probably the garage off to the other side.
Yeah.
So, and then at least 3 bedrooms on the upper level. So a pretty big house.
Yeah. Big, but not unrealistically big. And the set also didn't feel like, that it was way too small. Like some of the things we've watched where it's like, there's no way you wouldn't hear what was going on upstairs.
I think you could absolutely believe that like there would be someone in this house and you might not know it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do Christmas Carol's favorite quotes?
Yeah, let's do it. I know we got a lot.
That we do.
I'll just start with the one we already both mentioned we had. What delusional infant thinks that staging a break-in is going to get you to second base?
Yep. All right. Well, I'll do the one from earlier with Patrick Warburton and Virginia Madsen, Robert and Deandra.
All right.
Yes, my darling, my ornaments were conspicuously missing from the tree. Robert, we're not putting those on the tree. Deandra, bell shoes or I'll chop your leg off below the knee. Robert holds up like a pair of like Christmas shoes as an ornament.
Yeah.
And then Deandra goes, you sure you've never sucked another man's cock? Not even in college? Not some lost weekend, fishing trip, secret special friend? Never? Deandra. And then Robert goes, not that I can recall, which is just a great response. Because honestly, Robert, gets cut off. Robert, metrosexual? Deandra, that's not even a word. It's metrosexual. Robert, I'm allowed to like gay things. Deandra, I need a drink.
Garrett, Luke, truth or dare? Well, it will be dare, of course. Garrett, okay, I dare you to touch your tit. Ashley, no, please don't do that. Luke, it's a universal rule, Ashley. Do you have a preference, right or left?
I have a Garrett and Luke. The only reason to read this stuff is for the pictures. It's when Luke's talking about like trying to scare her into getting horny, and then Luke goes, "It's Maxim. They know what women want," which is such like a 12-year-old's like brain idea of what Maxim magazine is.
I have the follow up to that. Want to put her in the mood? Watch a horror movie. When we're scared, our brain pumps out dopamine, the same chemical we release when we're aroused. Garrett, so fear really makes girls wet? Told you.
God, like I said, like such a 12-year-old's understanding of the world. The last one I have is Ashley says to Luke, so what are your family's plans for the holidays? Luke, drinking and arguing.
The 2 people building the snowman at the beginning. The snowman girl says, just your nose and we're done, Mr. Frost. And the older boy smashes the snowman's head with a baseball bat. The girl, she screams this like at the top of her lungs, you butt fucker.
There we go. I couldn't remember what the line was.
Great opening.
That's literally how the movie. You get Joy to the World playing these beautiful like you get this beautiful Christmas scene of a neighborhood, and then a snowman, a little girl says this, that gets smashed, and then title card, you better watch out, and she screams you butt fucker at her brother as he runs away from her.
And my last one is Garrett when he starts to drag Ricky to the staircase, and he's like, "You're fucking home aloneing him."
Which is such a Jay and Jeff way to describe something in a
Yeah,
thing.
it's definitely a Jay and Jeff thing.
Classic Home Alone situation.
We're home aloneing him.
Do you want to do Broken Bowl, Brilliant Bowl, or do you want to do Christmas Spirit next?
Let's do Spirit.
All right. How Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills?
I guess it depends. There is a weird Christmas suicide theme. A lot of people kill themselves at Christmas. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a Christmassy kill when he gets hung. Well, I guess he didn't do it voluntarily, but still. Having her tied up in the Christmas lights, that was pretty Christmassy when he kills her with the neck. Well, we think he killed her with the neck wound anyway.
Certainly the Home Alone kill.
Yes, that was very Christmassy just because of that movie.
And then, yeah, I also loved the Jeremy getting hanged, and
He's hung, Jay,
and he's like he's kind of like kicking his feet in the snow as the lawnmower pulls him away, and then like the snow kind of falls onto the suicide note.
Yep, from the branch. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that's such a great scene, and yeah, that felt kind of Christmassy as well to me.
And we already said the movie feels pretty Christmassy. Just the way the snow's set. We have carolers, we have Christmas decorations everywhere. The parents are leaving. The reason they're leaving is because they're going to a Christmas party.
I think word for word, I pretty much have what you just said. Another high one. This is like our third movie in a row that's like incredibly Christmassy, like decoration wise. Great Christmas soundtrack as well. Lots of decorations. The parents are gone because it's a Christmas party. Snow on the ground, carolers, etc.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd say this one scores pretty high on Christmas on both accounts.
Now, just I was another one where you just kind of go like, man, they all need to be as Christmassy as this. Like,
I mean, there's no reason they couldn't be. This was not a high budget movie.
Yep. So Broken Bulb, Brilliant Bulb. One thing you want to fix, one thing you want to shout out.
You want to go first or me?
I can go first. My Broken Bulb. Kind of a weird one, but I mean, it's kind of the thing I've mentioned multiple times. The trailer gives away the whole twist of the movie. There's I think literally a line in the trailer for a review of it, and it's like The Strangers meets Home Alone, and it's like, yeah, if you just showed the home invasion aspect of that, you would think it's The Strangers meets Home Alone. But as soon as you give away the fact that Luke's actually orchestrated this whole thing, because the trailer gives that away, it kind of ruins the whole movie.
Yeah. I know you mentioned that before we even watched it, that the trailer had ruined it for you the first time.
And still a great movie. Still have a blast watching it. But yeah, you can't really say Strangers meets Home Alone when the home invasion isn't actually a home invasion. So that was my broken bulb. Fix the trailer, which I mean, I think could be a broken bulb for a lot of movies. Fix the trailer.
That's a pretty mild one, yeah. My broken bulb was make Garrett and Luke a little older. It's weird that at 12 years old that they would be this obsessed with trying to get laid. Yeah, this is more like a 14, 15-year-old thing, I would think.
My wife mentioned the same thing. Like, age them up a couple years, age Ashley up, make her 21.
Yeah, make her like home on break from college or whatever. And yeah, they're like in the midst of high school, I think, because when you're 12, you're still in middle school.
There's literally a line where Garrett like basically implies that Luke hasn't gone through puberty yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand. I mean, at 12 years old, I was thinking about having sex with girls and seeing girls that were attractive. But I don't know I was to the point of desperation where I would stage something like this to get laid at 12.
Right, exactly. No,
that was more like 14, 15.
No, when I was 12, I was still like playing with toys and shit. Certainly, when I was 12, I'm not sure I knew where to get weed. When I was 14, I knew where to get weed.
I mean, even if you're saying that Luke is this way because he's obviously psychotic, why would Garrett be going along with it when he's the same age as Luke?
Yeah, it's just just age them up a little bit, Ashley up a little bit, and I think the movie works a little better.
But I mean, it's still a fun movie. I still like it. But yeah, I think that would have been a detail you could have done to make it a little more believable.
Do you want to do your brilliant bulb?
Sure. My brilliant bulb was Luke's acting. He is obviously he was not very old when he did this movie because I think he's only 22 or 23 now. So he would have been like 16, 17 when he did this. So he plays it really well. He plays. He always seems like he believes that he is this cool, like Patrick Bateman-esque psycho, but it's obvious that no one else thinks that about him, and everybody else just thinks he's a pathetic loser.
Yep.
Including, as the movie goes on, Garrett also begins to realize that he's a pathetic loser.
When even your best friend thinks you suck.
And you notice he is all calm, cool, and collected unless he gets into a situation he thinks he's in trouble, and then he reverts back to his true, like, 12-year-old kid self, where he, like, when he thinks Ricky is going to beat his ass because he didn't knock him out with the bat and he starts crying or whatever.
Yep.
Before Garrett bails him out with the shotgun threat.
I think he even, like, screams for his mommy or something like that.
Don't hit me now. It's like, yes, that the way he played that is so great. The way he snaps back, it makes him seem like he's genuinely crazy and unhinged too, because of the way he snaps back and forth between like this psychotic murderer and this like desperate child.
Jeff, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah,
I have almost the exact same thing. A great performance from the whole cast. Like this is, I think, the first movie we've had where like certainly the first one I can think of, at least since Black Christmas '74, where the whole cast just put everything into it. It really feels like.
No, I agree. I mean, everybody did great performances, but I just highlighted Luke because the movie would not be good if his performance wasn't good.
Yeah. Special shout outs for Levi Miller and Olivia DeJong, who I think both do fantastic. Like they are the stars of the movie, and they both earn being the stars of this movie. But yeah, pretty much the exact same thing. So yeah, every episode of Horror for the Holidays. Of Horror for the Holidays.
Okay, Grandpa.
We rate our movie off of one of three categories. Is it ho 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 hilarious? Is it seasonally scary? Or is it you'll be sorry? Jeff, do you want to take it away?
Well, I was kind of torn on this one because I was trying to think. Like, I don't think it's scary at all, but I could see people who would think something like this is scary. So ultimately, I think I'm going to give it a seasonally scary. I think it's got enough genuinely disturbing moments and some really brutal violence for a movie whose tone really does not match that. And also because I mean, I'm assuming people aren't going to be watching the trailer for this when they watch it now. You're not going to be expecting probably what happens unless you've seen a ton of movies like we have.
When people recommend this movie online, the literal, like every single time, there is literally like someone will put better, what's your favorite Christmas horror movie? And someone will say, better watch out. And they will literally put, do not watch the trailer. Like,
but yeah, I could see definitely, I wish we had had the chance to see this in the theater without being spoiled by the trailer, because I think it would have been a great experience. But yeah, I gave it a seasonally scary just because of the high quality of it, the high quality of the acting in the script, and the subject matter could be genuinely scary. And I know this is the type of movie that scares Jay more than like your supernatural horrors, because this is something that could actually happen.
Certainly the first half of the movie. I really don't like the home invasion stuff, even though I love, that's the thing. I love the premise of Strangers. I just can't watch it.
Yeah.
I love Intruder, which I have actually finished. But yeah, home invasion movies are always kind of a touchy subject. But this movie, does kind of a great job of doing that and then twisting it. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm kind of the same way. I was thinking ho 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 hilarious, but I'm like, this is really more of a seasonally scary. Mm-hmm. It's a very fun movie with a great premise and a real kind of wild twist, especially if you don't see it coming. Some real funny dialogue, some real funny moments, coupled with like a truly dark and depraved subject matter. And they just, like you said, like the gore, the violence, like things that, kind of don't fit in this, you get this comedy movie or, these kind of comedy moments that are interrupted with, someone getting their head smashed in with a fucking paint can.
Mm-hmm. Like brutal stuff. Like even the cheek stab kind of sets the tone, and then it just escalates from there. We're to the point where he's having a guy write his own suicide note without him realizing that's what it is, using a lawn tractor to hang him, tying up his quote unquote love interest, I guess we'll say, for this in Christmas lights, and then when she won't answer his questions, stabbing her in the throat. I mean, we have the paint can we've talked about, which was like really well done. We even have the murder of Garrett. That one, it's kind of like Garrett's almost like he knows that Luke is bad, but you could see the look on his face like, I didn't think Luke would really kill me or whatever.
Yep.
As it's happening.
No, and like I said, the goopiness of the cheek stab.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like, and they do it twice. They do it the first time, and he takes it away, and there's all the goop and shit on the cheek. And then when he realizes he has to explain the hole with the pencil, he goes and gets another pencil, stabs it through his cheek again, and rubs it around, pulls it back out, and it's all goopy and shit again. Like,
Yes. See, this is another thing. It's like I really don't understand why some movies do blood effects so badly. This movie was not high budget, like we said, $3 million, and they did great gore effects.
and you know, with how big some of these people one are and two have wound up being, it probably cost a pretty penny to get some of these people in this movie.
I mean, to get Patrick Warburton, I'm assuming, was probably a big chunk of the budget.
Yeah, him and Virginia Madsen. Yeah, it would not surprise me if that was $1 million alone just to get those two. Mm-hmm. Jeff, we do have to take into account that maybe we're wrong. And,
well, Jay, it's funny you mentioned that because I was just going to say, I just got a text, Jay, from my Google review alerts that says, actually, Horror for the Holidays is a bunch of fat dumbasses, and the top-rated Google review will tell you what's going on with this movie, Jay. Hold on. Let me pull up the definitive Google review of this film.
I think that this has kind of become a thing. We've been building to this for a while, talking about other people's reviews.
Yes, I mean, we've been mentioning it. I've been fucking talking about how much I hate these damn Redditors and their reviews of things and directors and movies.
I think we need to find a name for this category. Like should we call it like coal in your stocking or something like that?
We'll have to workshop. I don't know. I think this does need to become a new segment because it seems like no matter what movie we watch, no matter how good it is, there's always some asshole online with a highly rated review. Bear in mind, this is the top rated Google review of this movie.
130 people found this helpful.
Yes. We're not gonna dox people here, so I'll just say we have Cat from 2 years ago, 1 star. Spoiler warning, which I don't see why you're spoiler warning if this is the way you feel about the movie. I would give this 0 stars if I could, Jay, but I'll have to settle on 1. I really don't understand how it's possible that anyone enjoyed this movie, as I found it entirely trashy, pointless, and disturbing, and most of all, sick
in capital letters.
It is wrong in every way, and it left me over the bathroom sink ready to puke. I wish I could say I was exaggerating. You are. There was no horror. There was no horror.
What movie were you watching?
So if that's the reason you're interested in watching, don't be fooled. I don't know. Apparently she is sick if she thinks there's no horror in this movie. Apparently this happens to her all the time, Jay. You likely enjoy gouging out your own eyeballs more than you would watching this film. This movie is the most infuriating thing I've ever wasted my time watching. It starts out seemingly normal because what 12-year-old doesn't want to passionately smash his babysitter?
Once again, me.
Yeah.
Like, when I was 12 years old, I was not thinking about sex.
I mean, it also sounds like she could be being sarcastic, but I mean, it happens to a lot of, especially boys, because babysitters are often women, and it's one of the women you spend the most time with early on. It's kind of like why boys have crushes on their teachers a lot of times, too. It's like it's a woman you spend a lot of time with, and especially it seems like they had a close relationship where she liked to spend time with him, not the cold, like, I'm here, go to bed type of relationship. So we have about 30 minutes of somewhat simplicity. I don't know what that means, okay. Until this film takes a horrendous turn.
It takes a horrendous turn, but there's no horror in the movie.
Yeah. And by this, I don't mean a crazy plot twist, but you do mean a crazy plot twist because that's what happens. But more like a nonsensical second half, if you will. First of all, if you say it's about 30 minutes of simplicity, then it would be 2/3 of the movie are crazy, but whatever. All of a sudden, we have a psychotic 12-year-old, a surprise that wasn't hinted at once. Yes, it was hinted at several times.
Not only is it hinted at, but then it's also, like, retroactively brought up that he killed his best friend's hamster and, like, felt no remorse for murdering his best friend.
It's literally spelled out in the first scene you see Luke in with Garrett when they're talking about how being scared makes a woman wet, and this is his plan to get with Ashley before she goes out of town.
Yep.
It's like, this is not a normal 12-year-old conversation, in case you're curious. All right. Well, since that surprise wasn't hinted at once, Jay, there was no well-placed foreshadowing to his mental disposition, except there was. which I would think necessary to make any plot twist believable or satisfying, and the movie only goes downhill from there. The plot is absolutely meaningless. It's not, but okay. I mean, if you don't like the meaning, that's one thing, but it does have a plot that has a meaning. And the entire thing felt like one disturbing joke.
Well, it's a Christmas horror. Or
Yes.
it's a horror comedy. It should feel like a disturbing joke.
Yes. There was no character development. I don't agree, because obviously Garrett had character development as he realizes his friend is a monster.
I think Ricky has like a
yes.
moment of realization where he's basically sacrifices himself so Ashley can get away.
Yes, it's like obviously Ricky changes, but Garrett has a huge arc from literally being part of this conspiracy at the beginning of the movie to attempting to save Ashley at the end. It's like I don't see how you could say there's no character development. Luke doesn't have any character development, but that's because Luke is a psycho.
Yeah, like you said, he's young Patrick Bateman.
Yes. It all felt empty and repetitive. I don't see how you thought it was repetitive. There's literally something new happening like every 5 minutes, but okay. And I truly thought it would never end. I thought the movie flew by, personally.
No, this movie is so quick.
Yes,
it's such a quick watch.
You really don't feel the runtime. Let's see. There was no action either, which made it quite boring.
What movie?
What?
I think I said to you, did they spend the whole time like watching their phone and just looking up at occasion and like, yeah, there's no action in this movie. Nothing's happening.
It's all just weird turn after turn. I mean, it's really not. There's only the one weird turn where it turns out that he's a psycho. After that, it's pretty much standard. I really worried that I would go insane from watching. All right, I'm starting to think that maybe the problem isn't the movie. Jay, if you think this is going to make you insane from watching, I think you may have some issues yourself. I cringed every time the boy spoke, as every line throughout this movie was awful. Every line came out sounding just wrong. The acting is something this movie seems to be heavily rewarded for, but throughout the entire thing, I couldn't help but notice how awful it was. What?
You and I praised how good the acting
I was
is.
going to say, a lot of people thought the acting was good, and we thought that was like the highlight of the movie, but even if you don't like the movie, I don't see how you could say that this was awful acting, because by the very fact that you say, I hate the boy every time he speaks, that's because he's a good actor.
Yep.
And he's making you believe that he's a psycho and an asshole, and he's super annoying. But, okay. Something that I assume played a large part in making this movie as terrible as it was the fact that the antagonist ruled freely, doing as he pleased throughout the whole thing, while the protagonist was stuck tied to a chair the entire time. First of all, she was not stuck tied to a chair the entire time. She actively works to free herself twice, including almost escaping once. Luke has several times where his plan goes wrong, and he has to improvise, and like he would have failed if Garrett hadn't saved him from Ricky upstairs. That could have ended the movie right there.
Yeah, he's not some kind of like Batman who planned
Yes.
for every eventual outcome.
Ashley literally almost gets away. She's like this close to getting away, and he just barely stops her in time. Even he almost doesn't get to go through with his plan with Jeremy, because Jeremy's literally too stupid to understand what he's supposed to do with the note. It's like, yes, this is not some great master plan that goes off without a hitch.
No, if Jeremy had just like burst in through the doors
And
to go find her, like he would, Luke didn't have a gun at that time.
Yes.
He would have just kicked his ass, and Garrett probably would have just sat there.
yes, I don't think Garrett would have saved him. And then he cleans up. He almost forgets about the pencil. That also doesn't go his way. He has to go redo all that stuff real quick before his parents get home. Then he can't balance the pencil on the doorknob no matter how hard he tries, so he has to sneak around the roof, almost falls, and alerts his parents that he's still up. It's like, this does not all go his way without any effort. It's very, very close to him failing multiple times. Without the intervention of Garrett, he would have failed at the very beginning of the plan when Ricky showed up, because Ricky would have just kicked his ass and went and untied Ashley.
Right.
But, okay, let's see. Let's wrap this up. There was no victory in the end, no satisfaction, except the fact that Ashley saved her own life and succeeded and flips him off at the end. I guess that's not a victory, though.
Just a hint that the kid will end up getting caught, but is that really enough? you have movies where like the resolution's kind of hazy at the end all the time. Black Christmas literally ends and you go, does Jess live or die? Like, the phone's ringing, she's alone in the house with a killer, and the police are standing right outside, but they have no idea.
No,
Like,
I can think of plenty of movies where the killer just actually wins. There's no contest. Everyone is dead. So, I don't get it. I'd say it was a victory, her saving her own life by her quick thinking, and flipping him off, because obviously she's like, I'm going to tell somebody as soon as I can that this kid is a monster. Of course, because this movie bombed, we'll never know what happens, most likely, but... Oh, and then to wrap it all up, negative bonus points for the creepy comment on bubblegum from Adventure Time, because just please no.
Which, like, once again, they're, high school boys. They watch cartoon shows. Of course, they have creepy infatuations with
it's
cartoon
like,
characters.
Are you telling me you've never wanted to bang a cartoon character from a cartoon you've watched? Give me a break. There's a whole subset of weirdos out on the internet who want to bang Nala from The Lion King.
Right,
so.
like, which, they're weirdos, but no, it is a
out
thing.
there.
Like, you're not, these aren't the first people to make this.
Yes. I mean, Princess Bubblegum is a human, ostensibly, so I don't think it's that weird, but okay. But yes, this is the top-rated review on Google with 130 people finding this helpful. An actual review that tells about the substance of the movie and why it's great only has 7 people giving it a thumbs up.
Yeah, like, to me that literally means 130 people didn't watch this movie because they read this review.
I'd say it's way more than that, because most people aren't going to bother hitting the thumbs up or thumbs down on a review. They're just going to read it and move on. I guarantee you that this review being at the top has probably dissuaded thousands of people from actually watching this movie.
Which is insane.
Yes. Because, they say, like, 10% of people who interact with a post will, like, comment on it or like it or whatever.
That's a good point.
So, if 130 people found it helpful, probably thousands of people looked at it. So that's really sad that this kind of it literally doesn't tell you anything about the movie. It's just
the person complaining.
Yes, it's somebody's rant, because obviously they didn't think it was very good, so apparently that means it's terrible.
Yeah, which, like I said, were they watching their phone the whole time?
Yes.
And would just look up and find a reason to be like, well, this movie makes no sense. Well, yeah, if you've got your head buried in the phone not paying attention, you probably would think so.
Even if you just didn't like it, which this does not even seem like an accurate review of the plot, so I don't know what this person is thinking. But even if you just didn't like it, that's not a reason to give it 1 star and say that no one should watch it. I didn't particularly like Longlegs, but I acknowledge the fact that I think a lot of people probably would like it, and I'm not going to tell you not to go watch it, and I'm not going to say 1 star, Jeff didn't like it, so it's fucking garbage.
Right. The only one that's that is Krampus the Christmas Devil.
No, I mean, Krampus the Christmas Devil, I will say that, yes. Jeff didn't like it 1 star, it's fucking garbage.
I mean, you and I have both said it's the worst movie we've ever seen.
Yes. But no, if a movie is like, even if you don't like Better Watch Out, if you watch it and you're like, it's not for me, you can't deny like the craftsmanship and the great performances that were turned in during the movie. That's just like living in your own like weird fantasy world, which I guess has become pretty popular these days.
Yeah. We stumbled across that, and you were just like, I have to bring this up on the show.
No, we have to, because we need to figure out the Christmas name for that segment, because we need to start highlighting more of these fucking weird, terrible reviews we find of these movies.
Listeners, if you have any suggestions, write in horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com or get in touch with us on social media at
Indeed.
horror4holidays, all the places.
Is it time, Jay? Is it Garbin time?
Almost. We got to do our naughty list.
Oh, that's right. Ooh.
Horror 4 holidays, by the way, not horror the number 4 holidays. Horror 4 holidays.
Horror 4 holidays, of course. All right, Jay, where are we putting him on the naughty list?
So I put, in a way, Luke is the naughtiest person we have on our list.
Yeah.
But we rank from, most evil to least evil, or like certainly most powerful to least powerful.
I was going to say more on the effectiveness of their evil, I think, than anything else.
But honestly, I would at least put him above a couple of like the supernatural killers. Like,
no, he definitely seems like he gets a lot of things done, I will say that. His intellect allows him to make up for his physical shortcomings in a lot of instances. I don't know. It's hard to say. It depends on who he goes up against, really, how powerful he is. Like, against a normal person, he's really good, because he's a master manipulator, and he has no moral qualms about doing whatever it takes to do what he wants to do. But, like, say we reference our friend Simon Phillips. If he was going up against Nick would just fucking kill him.
Right, yeah, have no qualms about
Yes,
it.
he wouldn't fall for any of these manipulations or tricks or whatever. He's not writing his own suicide note and letting himself get hanged with a tractor.
So like, in my head, there might be like baseline humans that are more powerful than him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think like, he might lose to like Billy from Black Christmas 2006.
Maybe, yeah.
But the one I'm like, he would clearly beat Nutcracker Massacre Nutcracker.
Oh yeah, there's a whole bottom tier of our list. Like Santa Claus would definitely be beaten by him. There's a ton of guys on our list that could easily be beaten.
Like he would just be killing some grown people. So
Yeah.
I maybe like just above like To All a Good Night, the Brooklyn Santa as you like to call him.
Yes, I think. Yeah, he's more competent than Brooklyn Santa for sure. Although I think Brooklyn Santa might be able to take him physically. It would but he would get tricked, so it would never happen.
Ooh, where do we have? Once again, this is where having an actual list would come in handy. Instead of us just talking about it and pretending like we remember. Dorm That Dripped Blood. Like the villain in that is kind of similar to Luke.
Yeah.
And I wonder, maybe put them on the same level. But if we have him lower than Nutcracker Massacre, I do think that he could beat like Nutcracker Massacre.
Yeah. No, I think Luke is even though he is 12 in the movie and not very physically intimidating, I'd say he's probably solid middle of the pack for our regular killers. And maybe a couple of the lower tier supernaturals, like the Nutcracker from Nutcracker Massacre.
And by Dorm That Dripped Blood, of course we mean Death Dorm, aka Pranks.
Yes. One of those three, for sure.
All right, this stocking stuffer, we're going to talk about this movie Pranks.
Yeah.
And it's just Death Dorm again.
Sounds really familiar, Jay.
All right, well, Jeff, it's time to clean out our email inbox, or I guess talk about a trip we took in a segment we like to call
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
All right, Jay, let's talk about this trip.
All right, so about a year ago, Jeff and I took a trip up to Minnesota to get
The Pitch Black Slurpee.
Yep. Well, it turns out 7-Eleven has had a new 7-Eleven exclusive Mountain Dew called Mountain Dew Infinite Swirl.
Taste infinity.
And I think Jeff and I have been waiting pretty much all summer to take this trip.
Yep.
I don't know if we mentioned on our trip to New Jersey, the air conditioning in my CRV did not work.
Yes.
I did finally get it fixed, so we were able to find a spare time before Spirit Halloween opens, and Jeff goes back to work, and I go back to work.
An ironic twist of fate. It was actually a fairly cool day, so we didn't really need the air.
Right. Yeah, we would have been fine. But yeah, so we took a trip. I drove up to Jeff's left here about 9:30, got to Jeff about 10:15 or so.
He got to the top of the mountain. I left my cabin. We went back down, of course.
Yeah. Stopped at a Quick Star while I was at Spirit the other day. They were trying to damage out a bunch of items, so they gave me a bag full of fingers. Mm-hmm. So we stopped at a Quick Star to grab something to drink, and I left one of the fingers in a pile of wood.
And Jay, in a stroke of brilliance, left a finger in the firewood like somebody chopped it off accidentally.
It looked great. It looked so
It
good.
does.
I should have taken a picture of it. We then, drove 3 hours north.
Yes, we had to drive 3 hours to get to the nearest Speedway travel center, by the way. You have to make sure it's a travel center, because a lot of times the other Speedways don't carry the 7-Eleven exclusive stuff.
Yeah, because, we made that mistake last time where we went to the closest
Yes,
Speedway,
we
but
went-
it did not have.
And we ended up adding an extra 45 minutes to our trip by doing that detour.
So we're cruising along, and Jeff goes, "Yeah, it should be up here in 3 miles or so." And my GPS is like, "In 1 mile exit." And Jeff's like, "Are you sure about that?" But we get off because that's what the GPS says to do. And I'm like, "Well, if we're right, it should be right over there," which it wasn't.
No, turns out we got off one exit too early, which is even more hilarious because the exit was open to get off where we wanted to get off, but not to get back on where we wanted to get back on.
So then we had to go through this town. I forget what the name of the town.
Faribault.
We had to go through Faribault twice.
But we did get to see a cool exterminator building that has giant ants attacking it.
Oh, it's so good. I should have taken a picture. It's they've got giant ants. Next year, when we inevitably make this trip again,
Yeah.
we have to stop and take a picture of the giant ants.
We should. But yeah, it was a good trip overall. They had plenty of the Mountain Dew, so we didn't have to worry about that. And it was even 2 for $4.
I was tempted. There was a mango habanero Slurpee. I think you and I were both kind of
Yeah, we were eyeing it up.
intrigued, but neither of us did it. But yeah, we opened our Dew, drank it on the way down, stopped at McDonald's, got one of those collector's cups.
All 3 polar bears, of course.
Yeah, all 3 polar bears. While that was happening, my family went to McDonald's and they got 2 more of the McDonald Land cups. So Jeff, if you need a spare McDonald Land, I got you.
Nice.
But all that to say, I saved 1 infinite swirl for the podcast.
I also did, but then didn't bring it because I'm a big dumb idiot.
First off, love the blue color.
Yes, it does look great. I wish they had left it a mystery as to what flavor it was. They had printed it on the label, so I think it would have been fun to discover it yourself.
No, it's so cool. But yeah, it looks like if you've ever had like a friend or family go down to like the Gulf of Mexico and they bring back one of those like little jars full of like seashells and sand and like ocean water. It's that color of blue.
Yes.
Like
It does. They did a great job capturing that tropical blue water look. And spoiler alert, Infinity tastes pretty good, Jay.
yeah. Instantly a hint of pineapple. Like you get that almost immediately. There's like a pineapple rocket on the
Yep.
almost looks like a corn cob.
Yeah.
But it's a pineapple rocket on the front, and then you get some pineapple slices. But yeah, I think you and I both thought it was great. But
No.
I was like, that
Yeah.
way I can at least sample a little bit on the show and remind myself.
No, I really enjoyed it. I was glad because, as we had discussed before, the Baja Blast that had pineapple in it was really disappointing and really not great. But this was really good.
I think the difference is I think with those like Baja variants, it's Mountain Dew Baja Blast plus a flavor, and I think this is just
Mountain Dew with pineapple.
yeah Mountain Dew with pineapple. It says pineapple berry, which I don't know what pineapple berry means, but
Interesting. But yeah, no, it's really good. And also, I have sad news to report, Jay. This year, Dr. Pepper became the number 2 soda company. Pepsi has slipped down to number 3.
Well, it's probably because they didn't come out with Cobra Cane last Christmas.
They could have saved everything with Cobra Cane.
Also, I've heard a rumor that we won't get a Voodoo next year.
Oh,
We will get a Voodoo adjacent soda, is what they're saying. So I don't know what that means, but like very disappointed. I think we're gonna have 3 years with no Christmas Mountain Dew, and we're also not going to get a Voodoo next year.
that is disappointing because my wife and I look forward to the Voodoo every year.
We love sampling it on the podcast. I'm waiting for it to come out, so I'm already stocking up for the Spooktacular.
Yes, Jay has already said he's been collecting snacks for the Spooktacular.
Yep, I've got some stuff loaded up. I'm keeping my eye out. There's a couple things that I know I need to grab, but I'm also going to keep my eye out for stuff I've not seen before. So stuff to look forward to. If you follow us on Instagram, you have seen the picture where I posted something and I put coming to a Spooktacular near you.
See, Jay does that because he knows I don't do Instagram, so I'm not going to be spoiled on anything.
I was also tempted to post it on Facebook and be like, shh, nobody tell Jeff. And then tag Jeff in it.
I was like, who the hell is Jeff?
But yeah, really good Mountain Dew. Honestly, might be, you really like Thrashed Apple, I know. I never got to try Thrashed Apple, but I think of like the store specific variants. So you take your Thrashed Apple, I guess. You take your Infinite Swirl. You take your
Purple Thunder.
and Overdrive.
Yes.
The Casey's exclusive one.
Yes. Also, Sweet Lightning, KFC.
Oh, I do like Sweet Lightning. Okay, with the exception of Baja Blast and Sweet Lightning, I think of the gas station specific or the kind of the store specific ones. Yeah. This might be the best one.
No, I think it is. Hands down, I would drink this again. And I don't even like the sugar pops anymore because I think they taste way too sweet to me. But I like this one. I didn't mind it.
I have heard, speaking of that, next year is going to be the year of like Mountain Dew releasing zeros of all the variants.
That'd be nice.
Which I think a lot of people have wanted. You and a
say,
lot of other
yes.
people I know have wanted.
I want to try a Live Wire Zero. I want to see what that's like.
Oh, that'd probably be pretty good. All right. Well, anyway.
Do you want to tease what we're doing Monday, Jay?
Oh yeah.
Because this was part of the trip too. We were preparing for something we have to do. So
Yeah, we were listening to a couple episodes of Totally Rad Christmas, which is another podcast on the Christmas Podcast Network, hosted by Jerry D, I believe.
I believe that's correct. Yes.
And we will be appearing. Well, I guess we'll be recording the episode the same day this episode comes out, but I don't know when Jerry will post it.
I'm sure sometime later this year.
But we'll be talking about a movie we've not talked about for the podcast yet. We'll get to a full review of that at some point. But we're going to be talking about one of Jeff's favorite movies.
Yes, we love it. Dial Code Santa Claus, a.k.a. Deadly Games.
Oh, so excited.
A.k.a. Home Alone, but before Home Alone.
Jerry sent us a list of like four movies where he's like, I want to talk about one of these four. And I'm like, we're down to talk about any of them, but I know Jeff loves Deadly Games. And he's like, all right, let's do Deadly Games.
Yep. Happy birthday, Christmas.
So when that comes out, we will we'll make sure to shout that out and tell people to go check that out, because I think that'll be a fun one.
It should be.
And and then we'll have to have Jerry on sometime to do an episode of Horror for the Holidays.
Oh, we definitely can. We'll have to make sure it's an 80s movie too.
But yeah, Totally Rad Christmas is all about 80s Christmas specials and TV shows. Yes. Something I think Spencer would really like.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And probably other listeners as well.
Yeah, I think if you like this show, check it out. You'll probably enjoy it. It also does Christmas adjacent things. I think they do. They also, he said it's the long decade, so technically he does stuff from like the late 70s through to the early 90s.
I think it's like 76 to 94 or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he's using the logic from How I Met Your Mother, that the 80s didn't come to Canada until the 90s.
Which, I mean, yes. Yeah. Let's go to the mall. You won't be sorry. All right. Well, if you want to find us on social media, get in touch with us for a Garbage Day segment. horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. We're all the places: TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Twitter. We are at Horror for Holidays. That's horror, the number 4, holidays.
YouTube.com/horror for the holidays. Check us out there. Subscribe, hit the bell. Like, one of the best places to leave us comments is you could do, I guess. We have a Facebook presence.
No, we do we need to make one of those.
We should get a Facebook presence. But the best place to do it is YouTube or the comment section on like the podcatcher of your choice. Usually Apple Podcasts seems to be the most subscribed one.
Yeah.
But we can answer questions there, or if you have suggestions, if you don't want to send us an email, that's a good place to leave a suggestion, because we usually read all those, as long as it's a 5-star review, of course.
And certainly if you find something that, you think we might have missed, if someone had listened to our episode about The Nights Before Christmas and been like, why didn't they mention Simon Phillips is going to be in Silent Bite?
Yeah.
If you think we skipped something or missed over something, get in touch with us and let us know something new's coming out.
Even though we present ourselves as infallible Luke-esque figures, Jay, we're actually not.
We're big dumb idiots.
Some things we miss. In fact, there's a lot of things we miss. But, we have fun. We talk about Christmas horror. Speaking of Christmas horror and Christmas in general, check out the other shows on the Christmas Podcast Network.
Yeah, we're really happy that they include us. And every week I get a notification that posted about whatever our new episode is and kind of did a little synopsis. And we
really appreciate it. If anybody else on the Christmas Podcast Network wants to reach out to us too, I'm sure we could do some crossovers.
Oh yeah. We've now kind of opened ourselves to a whole collection of people to kind of interact with and have on the show and stuff like that. Help kind of grow not only our Christmas horror community, but kind of the Christmas podcasting, community in general. So,
I mean, we're going into year 3 of the show, Jay.
And we're just going from strength to strength.
Yes, amazing strength. And the podcast hosts have never been in better shape either.
Oh yeah, we're just, the pounds are just melting away.
Hey Jay, round is a shape.
Otherwise, like Jeff said, subscribe on your podcatcher choice, 5 stars. But certainly, and most importantly, tell a friend. Tell someone you think would enjoy Horror for the Holidays about it. I think, if you like Christmas horror movies, check this podcast out. I enjoy it, and I think you might enjoy it. That's the best way to spread a word about a podcast.
I agree.
Other than that, we'll see you next week when Jeff and I get trapped.
Oh, no.
Talk about that experience.
The M. Night Shyamalan experience?
Oh, the one and the same for a stocking stuffer. And then we'll have a mainline episode after that.
Jay got trapped with his wife. It was rough. No,
Jeff got trapped, I don't know, by himself.
probably. I'm going sometime this weekend.
All right. Yeah. Oh boy. In case I forget to mention it on the stocking stuffer episode itself, trap ended, and then one person in the theater clapped.
Oh, and just a side note, everybody on Jay's Facebook wall thought it was him too, including me.
Jeff also thought it was. We're sitting there. My wife and I are sitting there, kind of dumbfounded about what we just watched, and then there was just one lone person.
Well, because the way you phrased it to me in your message was like, and one person clapped, so I was immediately like, was it you?
And then like two of my other friends posted the same thing.
So I could see you sarcastically clapping at the end of them. But
no, I think one person legitimately enjoyed it and then saw that everyone else was just like, what the fuck?
They stopped. The good old couple claps, and then it stops.
But yeah, anyway, just in case I forgot to mention that on the episode we do, that is a thing that happened.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you again next week.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye.